Cross City Commission Planning and Information Session is now called to order. At this time, we look to our city's manager to call for our invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, Minister Kirkland will conduct the invocation on behalf of Commissioner Roberts, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Sir.
Let us stand.
Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we come now to say thank you, O God. Thank you for being a blessing in our lives. And Father, we want to ask you as we go through this meeting, oh God, that you be in the midst. There might be some disagreements, there might be some agreements, but whatever it is, God, you have your way and settle this issue. And Father, we just glorify your name on today, and we lift you up and we give you praises. Touch each and every heart here on today, oh God, in their own special way, oh God. Give them strength, oh God. Give them courage to do what needs to be done for the city of Waycross. Father, we thank you. We give your name the honor. We give your name the glory. We give your name the praise. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
We'd like to thank the minister for giving us the invocation and for leading us in our pledge. My understanding was have no guests tonight, so we'll forego reading of our decorum, and we'll look to our city's manager, who will now take over our docket and run the remainder of our meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, Mr. Mayor, we have no scheduled traveling or training by the commission, myself or the directors. We'll move into the planning and information session, starting with the discussion items. We have no bids tonight. We'll go into the next item, which will be setting the quarterly budget hearing dates. You should have got an email corresponding naming those dates, but I will state those again. So we're looking to keep these in line with last year's. So October 6th will be the first quarter's hearing. October 6th, 2026. Then January 5th, 2027 will be the second quarter budget hearing. Then April 6th, 2027 will be the third quarter budget hearing. And then the final quarter hearing will be July 6th, 2027. All at 4 p.m., Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Thank you. And just for our hearing, would you repeat the dates just again?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. October 6th, 2026. January 5th, 2027. April 6th, 2027. And then July 6th, 2027.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Mayor, we're going to move into setting the dates for the city retreat. Now, the first date we set previously, but I want to restate it again. So for the fall, it will be this calendar year 26. It'll be the 9th through the 10th of October. And then the biannual second one will be in the spring quarter, the 10th through the 9th of April, 22-27. And those dates are consistent with the dates we've had in the past. Mr. Mayor, do you have any questions on those proposed dates?
I'll look to the commission to see if they have any date issues with 9th and 10th of October 2026. And I'll start with District 1, Commissioner Roberts. No conflicts. District 2, Commissioner William Simmons.
No, sir.
No conflicts. District 3, Commissioner Sean Sanders.
No, sir.
No conflicts. District 4, Commissioner William Tompkins.
No conflicts.
No conflicts. And District 5, Commissioner Alvin Ness.
No, sir, I'm good.
It sounds like the 9th and the 10th are good days.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the GEMA Homeland Security Grant. And right now, we're just going to, it's your signature or myself alongside one of the chiefs, either the police chief or the fire chief. And I'll provide a brief description for this grant, although I know you all received the grant in its entirety and you read yourself already. But for the public, we recognize that much of our infrastructure is old, and like many other cities across the country, we're facing these increased costs. And grants are one of our ways to help with our tax dollars to get things done. So again, after the hurricane, we always come refer back to the hurricane. We started applying for as many grants as possible. Most of these are not matching grants, so they're going to match them most of the time. And this particular grant, we'll go to the next slide. This really focuses on emergency management. So it's going to help out our fire department, our police department, and somewhat public works. And you can see there where it says how it improves it. Different communications, operations, public safety equipment, backup power system. There's a host of things that we can do, water and sewer infrastructure. And with this particular grant, we got to build the requirements that we're going to need. But again, it's all going to be focused around emergency service. And I don't have the entire dollar amount. It just depends how much we come up with to get the grant. But it's a much needed grant. And again, we're briefing the commission, but it's your signature authority or mine. And we feel this is value added for the city, definitely in case of any emergencies. And I'm going to pause if you have any questions on that grant.
Now open the floor to the districts, and at this point, if they have any questions, they may ask at this time. Hearing none, you may continue.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So no question on that, Mr. Mayor. I think we're going to still need a resolution to sign the grant, I believe. Did last year? Think so, okay. We'll verify that, but we'll keep on the agenda. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're going to move into the hurricane preparation. And this is just an update. This is not the full MOI that we're developing, but I wanted to give everybody a brief update of the intent of the city moving forward. We have recognized there are storms already forming this year, so we will be facing some type of storm damage here over the next few months. So we did change some things from last year and the year before that. So we're definitely going to call it ThreatCon Alpha. Alpha meaning the highest, and when we're at ThreatCon Alpha, that means there's a declared emergency by yourself and the governor. That's going to be the first kicker for that. Also, there's going to be some type of power interruption. That could be temporary or sustained, but when it's ThreatCon Alpha, that's going to be part of it as well. During this ThreatCon Alpha, we're going to have daily updates. This is all based on don't have any power, meaning people can't get on their cell phones and stuff like that. So as we tried, I think a little bit 2 years ago, we'll do an update on City Hall steps at 2 o'clock every day. This will be following the update from emergency services that Mr. Dane used to do for the city and the county. So you'll do that every day until we no longer need to. So that means power will be restored and everybody can start receiving information online. Something new here, or not new, but definitely going to impose curfews. This year, there's going to be stricter guidance on curfews. I'm working with the police chief on that right now. As y'all recall, each year we had a major storm and we had power interruptions. We've had a death, and the death was mainly caused because people were out at nighttime without lights when it shouldn't have been. So we're definitely going to impose the curfews this time around, and we'll provide, hopefully at the next meeting, the parameters of those curfews and how they're going to be enforced. And they're going to be really strictly enforced this year. So I will ask the commission to go ahead and talk to your residents about that. Any pushback, we're not going to have any time for any pushback. It's the goal to save lives. And again, that leads to workforce safety operations. Again, throughout the curfews imposed with people out and about doing the aftermath of the storm, it kind of endangered some of our employees trying to explain stuff when they're trying to definitely get the city back going. So that's going to be part of the operations as well. For the group, so shelter provisions, it's going to be City Hall, in the city auditorium. These for those individuals who lose power and need to get power to charge devices, medical devices, phones of that nature, and temporary housing as needed. We are working some other ways for housing with the Red Cross, but the city hall and auditorium will be the main places for shelter provisions for our residents. We're asking residents right now to go ahead and purchase supplies and rations now. We've been putting this out for the last few weeks. Hopefully everybody's been listening and taking advantage of that. I will say, if you're paying attention, the cost of the cost of generators has already started to go up at this time, and I'm sure by next month there'll be another $200 on top of the generator. So I would just tell residents, the longer you wait, the more expensive the generator is going to be. You know, you're going to price yourselves out of getting one. 2 months ago, there was at $400, and that was for one that's going to be probably $1,000 or $2,000 by the time you get to August, September time frame. So just again, if you have the funding and ability, go ahead and purchase those items as soon as possible, because the market does dictate they go up as we move further into hurricane season. Also, we're asking our residents to coordinate for medical devices and supplies right now. We did talk to some of the medical providers. So if you're on oxygen or any type of medical assistance, go ahead and ask for that additional tank or additional power source. Right now, we have learned they will support that, but it takes about 30 to 45 days for that to happen. So you need to go ahead and do that right now versus wait for the storm to come, and then it's probably not going to happen. And again, for the public, review your insurance coverage policies. We go through this every year. What your policies cover, what they don't cover. You can make adjustments now. You cannot make adjustments after the fact. So I asked the commission to encourage their residents to go ahead and make those changes to an insurance policy that they always need after the storm. This year, we're going to change the distribution points. Last year, we were at Pacific Just City Hall. We're going to move into the districts now, the neighborhoods, at each fire departments, each district fire department, where each commissioner will be providing resources to the residents. And we're going to use the drive-through concept, where you have your vehicle, you'll drive through, get your water, get your supplies, and keep going. It'll be that. And then City Hall will be one too, but that will be a backup for those districts that are overwhelmed or need help as far as supplies and food, water distributions. And again, it's the drive-through service concept. That's it right now, Mr. Mayor. We're going to put this on paper for signature and put it to the historical documents next meeting. I just wanted to go ahead and present it today so the commission can go ahead and get started. We've already had, we've been blessed a little bit so far this year. Well, the weather has not been that bad, but again, if you look at all the weather models, it's going to be pretty bad this year with the hurricanes, and we want to go ahead and get started now and not wait till later. So I'll pause there for any comments or suggestions about the THREATCOM Alpha plan.
I'll open the floor to the commission to respond to or comment on any of the comments that you've just made. So I'll start with District 1. Sounds good. District 2.
Well, I would just like to express my appreciation to city manager and staff for looking ahead, preparing ahead. I believe in being prepared and not trying to get ready. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. District 3.
None at this time.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. District 4
No questions.
and District 5.
No, sir, I'm good.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, Mr. Mayor, we're going to move into the PAYCOM presentation. I'm going to have the Human Resource Director introduce the PAYCOM team, and then we have slides prepped already. You set the slides up? Okay. Let's set the slides.
Big, too.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Currently, we have a platform that we've been using since 2017, I believe, well before I was here. And I've been working with Alexis to view PAYCOM and to see what kind of services they can offer. To say we were blown away is an understatement. But she was just one to introduce herself, a little bit about her HRIS software system and what they can bring to the table for the city of Waycross and its employees.
Thanks, Bruce. Hey everyone, thank you for having me out. Just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Alexis Crouch. I live in Jacksonville, so a little bit of a drive to get up here, but I work a lot in the South Georgia area, and by far Waycross is my favorite. I stay every Wednesday night at the Fairfield Inn, so some fun facts about me. But wanted to kick this off with just a little introduction of Paycom. So I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with Paycom, but we are a cloud-based HRIS system, and so we handle everything from hire to retire with the employee. And we were the first to go online with payroll, so we were really pioneers in the industry. And with that, we were built on a single database. So a lot of systems these days say that they were built on a single system, but we're the only ones that can truly say we were built on a single database because we've never partnered or acquired for any solutions. Paycom has built itself, built every single piece of the software itself. So not only is data integrity there, we're able to add on so much and bring us to a state of full solution automation, which I'm going to talk about a lot today. So the reason we're here today is I've been spending a lot of time with Marissa and the team talking about current processes, and I've also reviewed the fiscal year 2027 budget, and there was a lot of talk about automating manual processes. And that is like, if I could have a tagline for Paycom, that would be it, automating manual processes. So there's a lot of manual paper-based processes right now going on in the HRIS system that you guys are working with right now. And then not only that, you're having a couple of disconnected systems. So you're having ADP over here, you've got Tyler, you've got Cobra, you've got all this stuff that's trying to communicate with each other. But the reason that they're not able to seamlessly communicate is that all of these different softwares were built on different code languages and service models, right? So it's like if two people were trying to speak a different language to each other, it's hard for those to seamlessly communicate. And that's where Paycom comes in with the whole single database, building it all ourselves. So not only that, there's a lot of manager time drain that we're seeing right now, and we'll talk a little bit further on that on cost savings for you guys, but they're spending hours a week on time card approvals, manual approvals, when we automate all of that and we put it right in the palm of your hand on your cell phone. So we also are going to keep you guys from compliance risk. We do a lot with Cobra, ACA tracking, I-9 verification, so you'll know your business is always in the right hands and always being compliant with law. So this is what your current processes look like today in the HRIS field. And it's funny, when I showed this to Marissa the first time, she was like, "Can I frame this?" She was like, "This is so accurate." And I was like, okay, great. So I put this together for you guys to see just kind of what's going on the day-to-day basis. And this is what you're going to be at with Paycom. So it's all going to originate right there, and then it's going to flow through into whatever fields it needs to flow through with very minimal manual processes. And we're going to completely eliminate like that middleman touching every single part of the software. So we are proud to partner with 38 municipalities across the state of Georgia, and our retention rate is 100%. None of them have ever left Paycom. And that goes to show we're here to build a long-term partnership. We're not just here to be in and out. We want to help you guys scale your business and help your business grow as efficiently and effectively as possible. So what a partnership would look like is I'm the account executive for Paycom, and I represent a lot of companies in the South Georgia area. And then my manager, Kyle Anchorage, oversees North Georgia and or South Georgia and North Florida operations. And then what we'll take from there is through the transition process, what we pride ourselves on at Paycom is we're really different. Right now, there's probably 4 pages of contacts at ADP to reach out to, but we're going to take you through the entire implementation with your new client specialist and your transition specialist representative. And then those people are going to actually be on site to help run the first payroll and make sure everything's correct. And then they'll pass you off to our long-term support team, which is where you'll have a live voice 100% of the time, no more call centers. You'll have somebody who actually knows your account and is able to help you through anything that might arise. And they also kind of serve as a strategic partner for you guys. So however you guys want to best use the system, Paycom's going to be there to support you. So this is what we're offering today as a solution to the map that I showed y'all earlier. We can walk through this a little bit more at the end when we're talking about proposal and pricing, but just wanted to throw this out here for now. There are future states to Paycom, and it's so easy because it's in one database that if you have something else that interests you in the system, all you do is turn it on and they'll help you get it all set up. So the executive summary that I have here is all the operational value of cost savings that I've identified for your business when working through this process. So we'll kind of walk through it one by one, and I'll show you how we're going to be able to help save this for you guys. So recruiting and onboarding. Right now, Marissa is entering every new hire into ADP, all of the information that goes with it. And then the employee has to complete the onboarding in person. So on their first day, they have to come in and complete onboarding. What's going to happen there is Marissa also has to upload the job postings twice to ADP and then once to the job board that you guys are working with. What Paycom's going to do is we're going to take all that away, And we're going to put employee self-service in the hands of the employee. So everything from applicant tracking to onboarding is going to be done in a seamless process. So what you're going to do is you're going to get them, or we're going to take over your job board on your career site. They'll apply for the job. Their information's already in the system. So when it's time to onboard, that flows directly through. Marissa never has to enter anybody in the system. And then we send them a link to onboard, and they're ready to go on their first day. So what we see is a huge decrease in ramp time. So employees are actually able to just go in and start their job and be productive on day one. And what we see here is I saw about a 17% turnover in the fiscal year budget. And so let's just say we hire about 37 people a year, and we save you 2 hours in that whole process, which a lot of times we see more like 4, but all of my numbers here are pretty conservative, just so that you guys get a little bit of an idea. And a fully loaded rate of $40 an hour for HR, for benefits and everything, we'd save about $3,000 in that process. So payroll administration, I know that lies with the finance team, and every payroll cycle requires at least 25 punch corrections, which managers actually manually review before finance has to review them, and then before it gets put into payroll. So what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate that manual paper process again, and we're going to automate it. And so managers are actually doing this on their phones. So employees are in charge of making their own punch changes, and then it shoots right over the manager for approval. So what we're doing is we're empowering your employees to own their own data and allow them to work with their managers, so it leaves the finance team out of having to do all those manual changes. And honestly, who knows better of somebody's time than the manager who is on the shift, right? So it only makes sense for them to be the ones approving it, and for the employees to have that audit trail of them correcting their time card, the manager correcting their time card, and then not flowing directly to payroll. So you don't have to, shut off time cards and payroll a couple days before. Now it's going to automatically flow to payroll in this concept of live payroll that we have. So we identified about $4,000 in cost savings on that by just saving you 10 minutes per correction. Okay, PTO decisioning. This one's my favorite because who doesn't like to take PTO, right? So right now, they're submitting the request in ADP, but managers have to go through thousands of decisions before they can even make a yes or no on PTOs, right? So they have to see, do we have enough shift coverage? Do they have enough PTO balance? Do they have a policy about, if you're on a performance plan, can you take time off? So what we're going to do is eliminate that manual process, and Paycom's actually you're going to make 100 decisions and set up the system correctly, and you're not going to have to make those thousands of decisions every single day, because the system is going to read those rules that you guys have set and actually auto-decision that. It's something that we call decisioning logic, and we're the only provider that can offer that because of the way we were built. So that single database allowed us to go through full solution automation and then decisioning logic. So let's say 6 average PTO requests per employee, right? We're going to save you about $5,000 in cost savings on just PTO decisioning requests, and taking that time from managers having to make all those decisions and just automating that. And it also allows you to pay out of the correct labor budgets, because this is flowing direct to payroll as well. So benefits administration right now, Marissa and the HR team is traveling on site to inform your employees about benefit changes or benefits plans, or how to enroll, what's the best decision to make for my family. What Paycom's going to do is we have all of that in the system, and they can actually enroll just right from their phones. And they can see everything parsed out from these benefits documents and make the correct and best decision for their family and for them. So you can even have a test sample paycheck, because it's all in one system and it has live payroll. So if you're contributing to your 401k like I was doing when I started, I would just plug and play and see, oh, 10% is way too much, I'm going to do 2%. And then you can kind of see how that's going to affect your paycheck week to week. And what we see a lot of the times is people do live paycheck to paycheck. So it's important that they have full financial literacy into their paycheck, and that they're actually able to see their pay in real time as well. So we identified about $3,300 in cost savings by removing Marissa from that process of having to help answer questions, be there on site, and having Paycom take care of all of that. So performance reviews are a huge thing, and this is how you're going to really grow your business, right? Is having that performance reviews and having time to really evaluate how everybody is doing in the job. So let's say everybody has to have a performance review, and right now they're done on paper and then they're filed away. So with Paycom, we're going to save you about 15 minutes per review by just automating that and having it sent out whenever you need it to be sent out. So you could say, hey, after 30 days, we need a review sent out, and then after 60 days, another one. And we're going to automatically be able to push out those reviews. The employee signs off on how they think they did, shoots over to their manager, they sign off, And then that prompts that conversation between the employee and the manager. And then all of that gets stored in their personnel file. So instead of having paper files of, documents that are 10 years old, you're able to have it all in Paycom, and you're able to see exactly how an employee is doing and how they're trending performance-wise. So personnel action forms, this is a huge one, is right now, if there's a promotion, a pay change, transfer, status change, they're routed manually today, and Marissa's having to fill out, paperwork of each section. But what Paycom does is we introduce position seat management. So no longer all these aspects of pay, of PTO, of anything that goes into a job, benefits plans, it's no longer tied to the person, it's tied to the position. And what's really important about that is we can create a whole org chart for your company, and then when somebody leaves a position, Paycom alerts you that it's open, automatically posts that job requisition, and allows you to know exactly when you have the money to hire somebody and when you don't. And so just from personal action forms, by just eliminating the manual typing in of everything, we're gonna save about $700 on that. Expense management is huge because I know right now it's being approved by 5 separate people for just one expense, and it's disconnected from payroll. So what's happening right now is somebody will, go expense something on their card, and then they'll need a reimbursement. So they'll go into Tyler and cut a check from there. But what Paycom's gonna do is you just snap a picture of your expense, you upload it onto your phone, and that's gonna automatically send to payroll, and then it just gets pushed into their payroll. So now what we're saying when we go back to the point of it's important for everybody's paychecks to be correct 100% of the time and that they get that money back in a timely manner. Now you've aligned expectations of your employees with actually how the system is going to work, and it's never going to be a problem where they're going to have to escalate, to HR, like, hey, I need this check right away. Now they know the exact timeline of how it's going to be. And they can actually see their expense budgets. You guys can set restrictions on how much they can pay. And then not only that, we have mileage tracking too. Right now, it's just kind of a trust system of, you check your odometer when you're going somewhere and then you write down the miles that you traveled. But with Paycom, you actually are able to track the trip, and you can see that they took the most efficient route possible as well. And then again, that's going to flow over directly to payroll. So that reimbursement is never going to have to be a manual calculation process. It's just approved by their manager, sent directly over to payroll, and that's that. So we've saved $2,500 in just expense management alone, but this is really where the big stuff comes in, is labor optimization. And right now, your time is tracked in ADP, and then your labor budgets live separately in Tyler. So managers aren't seeing overtime until after payrolls run, and so without that visibility, overtime is being managed reactively instead of proactively. So what we want to do with Paycom is we want to be able to see reporting in real time. So like in the middle of a pay period, if you need to see how much overtime somebody has, you're able to pull that up immediately and actually take a proactive approach to reducing overtime. And you can also have that in the scheduling system where like you're going to schedule somebody and they are nearing overtime. So you're like, well, maybe I should hold off on this for now and schedule somebody else instead. So you have all of that information at the tip of your hands. And even if we reduce overtime by 5%, I saw in the fiscal year budget that it's about $468,000 in overtime right now. If we just reduce that by 5%, that's $23,000 in overtime savings that we would save you guys. And then manager productivity, my favorite one. So by allowing everything to be done on the phone, everybody has their phone at all times, right? So managers lose significant insight each week into tasks that they could be automated, right? Decisioning PTO, time cards, everything we just talked about. They are spending so much time having to be sitting behind a computer to do it because the ADP app is not as friendly as the Paycom app is. So what we want to do is empower your managers to do it in real time and do it on their phones so that when it comes time to go to payroll, it's all done, and Marissa no longer needs to chase anybody down for time punch approvals, and then we kind of eliminate that entire workflow process. So that's about $66,000 in cost savings that we're seeing on just manager productivity. And then employee self-service is, kind of the other side of the Manager on the Go app. So employees are all gonna have an app on their phones, and right now, if they have a question like PTO balances, their W-2s, pay stub, direct deposit change, that goes through Marissa, and then she has to manually update that. But why not put that power into the employee's hands, right? I mean, they're the ones that know their direct deposit information. I mean, Marissa shouldn't know that, right? So we should allow them to be able to go in there and change it themselves. And then that just automatically updates and allows the employee to have all of that responsibility on them. So what we're gonna do is save about $2,900 in cost savings by just saving 10 minutes per request per employee. So reporting and analytics, this is also a big one, is HR and finance right now are pulling separate reports from Tyler, ADP, Excel, manual spreadsheets, and then trying to piecemeal all of those together. So what we're going to do is all of it's going to be in Paycom, and they're able to actually pull these reports in real time, and it's all accurate data because it's living in this live system that's always breathing, always moving, always flowing. And right now, Marissa spends about 3 hours a week on the phone with ADP support when she's trying to pull a report, and we want to eliminate that. So what we're going to do is we have an advanced report writer center, and it's the easiest way to pull reports ever. And you can just go in and see any information that is in Paycom because it all originates in there. You can see it all in there and pull any sort of a report you need so that you guys are always able to have insights into your business. So I've identified about $25,000 in cost savings from just reporting alone. And then not to mention, those are just the operational costs that I'm seeing, but compliance risk and financial exposure that your company is facing right now without having the restrictions in place is ACA tracking. Right now, ADP is not fully accurate with their ACA trackings and didn't receive 1095s last year. And that's about a $50,000 annual fee that could be affecting the business. And also the required tracking and reporting for this, if that's not correct and that's not aligned in one single system, that's about $7,000 in savings that you guys would mitigate. And then COBRA compliance. COBRA is administered through a third separate party, which is called TASK. That's where COBRA is handled. But what has to happen is a manual reconciliation between TASK and ADP, because if an employee is fired or terminated in ADP, we need to make sure that the TASK goes out and sends that COBRA letter, right? But in Paycom, what's going to happen is if this employee is terminated, it's going to automatically send out that COBRA letter and keep your business in compliance 100% of the time. So we saw about $6,600,000 in in cost savings on that one right there. And then combined compliance exposure that you're facing right now that Paycom could help eliminate is about $63,000. That's where that $63,000 came from. And then the entire business impact that I'm seeing just by bringing Paycom onto your company is $202,000 combined with operational savings and compliance exposure as well. So now I want to talk about what it's going to look like to bring Paycom on for you guys. Do you guys have any feedback on presentation? Anything that resonated? Anything that didn't?
I did have a couple of questions, and one question that came to mind was, how long does the process take in order for us to get this online? Mm-hmm. Because I know once we start certain things, it takes a lot of time to get it done. So what would this estimated time?
That's a great question. So we have a great implementation team, and they're actually helping on site with everything as well. So it's about an 8 to 12 week implementation process. And the way that they kind of break it out is, you know, you have some data collection calls the first 2 weeks. So that's probably where the heaviest load is going to be by just transferring all of that information into ADP. But they actually go in and help you guys pull all of that data themselves. They're a really talented team. They know the system like the back of their hand. And then they'll take you through the entire implementation process with HCM training so that all of your managers know how to use the system. And what they're going to do before people start clocking in and out is they're going to come in and actually train your entire team on how to use the app. So even employees that are just using the app, they're going to get trained on how to log in and all of that stuff so that we know that the system's working exactly for you how we want it to be. And then they're actually going to stay with you through your first payroll. They're going to be on site when you process your first payroll. They're going to stay with you through that process for a couple more weeks and then transition you off into our long-term support team. So we're looking at probably around 10 weeks implementation timeline. Does that answer your question?
So with the educational portion of this, the persons that will have these devices in their hands and are able to work, when we're saying we're going to put a lot more on them, the onus will be on them instead of us. So the question is, how would they be trained as well?
The way that they'll be trained is the same way that all of your managers are going to be trained. So we want to make sure that your employees know how to put in a punch change request, put in a PTO request, all of that stuff. So they'll actually come out here, our TSR teams, and gather your employees for just quick training sessions and make sure that they're logged into the app, make sure they can, put in a PTO request, make sure that they can do all of the stuff that's needing to be done in Paycom. And something I didn't mention earlier is we actually have an Ask Here portion too, and it's where you can route any single questions, and your employee handbook and everything's uploaded into Paycom. And what we're going to do is parse out the information by AI reading it, and that can answer any employee questions for you. And we also have I Want, which is my favorite. And I actually asked my mom to play around in the Paycom app because I was like, I want to see if you can do it. She's not the best with technology. And so she goes to I Want, and all she has to do is hey, I need to put in a PTO request. It takes you exactly where you need to go in the system. So even your least tech savvy employees are empowered to do all of this in the app as well, because all you have to do is ask, I want.
That's good.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I'll open the floor to the commission. They may have some questions, and
Yeah.
I'll start with District 3. District 3, did you have it?
I'm sorry. Overrides to the automated system, is that an easy process for the managers?
Absolutely. So if you wanted, your PTO to be decision by decisioning logic, we can absolutely 100% set that up for you. But if you want sometimes hey, maybe that should be approved by a manager, you can write that into the system when you're going in there. So what also happens is when you're approving a PTO request and it's getting automatically decisioned, there's a little reason on the bottom, and it's hey, maybe me and Marissa talked about it and she said I could go on my 2-week cruise. So I'm just gonna go in there and say, hey, me and Marissa talked about it, it's all good. And then that'll shoot over to her for approval. So you can either set up the system as, automated as you want with the decisioning logic, or you can kind of pull back and be we want more hands-on manager approval of things. But if you're we don't want the manager approval anymore, turn it on whenever you want. That's how easy Paycom is to just turn on anything you need, because you have that strategic partner helping you throughout your time here.
Did you have a follow-up question?
No follow-up.
Commissioner?
I have a question. Is there a geofence on where they can clock in at? Because if not, an associate or employee could clock in from home and gain 20 or 30 minutes. So that would be my question. Is there a geofence built into this?
Absolutely. And what we have on the proposal for you guys right now is a geofence, and then for the public works, we have finger scanning clocks. But for the geofence, you can draw that around any location, and you can actually get as crazy as they need to be in this room, because we don't want people clocking in at the Starbucks and then coming in a couple hours later, right? So we have geofencing and micro beaconing and all of that stuff involved in the system as well.
Okay, good deal. That's all.
Mr. Mayor.
District 2?
Yes, sir. And the one thing you said that your competitors in most cases don't have is one person that knows the account. Mm-hmm. And dealing with some of your competitors, you call in, you get a different person every time, which takes them time to pull your account, get familiar with your account, and so it delays the process of what you need. That was the one thing I really liked.
I'm sorry?
I said that was the one thing I really liked.
Oh, yeah. No, that's something we pride ourselves on, because it's nobody wants to put in a ticket, and then I put in a ticket for something, a different software, it's a AI thing. They just never got back to me. And I was okay, well, I guess I give up. And so we don't want to do that at Paycom. We want to handle all of everything in person. And we always pride ourselves on an in-person work environment as well. We do all of our meetings in person and everything too. So it's just a big pillar of success for Paycom.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. District 1?
Yes, ma'am. How many other cities use this program?
I'm sorry.
How many other cities use this program?
So we have 38 municipalities just in the state of Georgia using Paycom, and none of them have ever left. So we're really here to build a long-term partnership with you guys. I had a couple examples just on here. Let me scroll up. Of just about 10 that I picked out to just throw on a slide for you guys, but we do have about 38 across the state.
How are they doing with the program?
They love it. They have seen so many cost savings, and the big thing that none of them have ever left has spoken words to exactly how our system works, and it's working, the way that we're describing it to everybody as well. Yeah.
Very good. And District 5?
No, so I'm just waiting on the cost.
Yeah. Let's get into it. Okay. So I know you guys have a little sheet right there. Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay, here we go. All right. So first I want to talk about kind of how Paycom is priced. So the way that it's priced is on the features that you're selecting. So I went through, with Marissa, what features would be beneficial for your business, and kind of built the proposal through there. And then also the way that we price is per employee per month. And you're going to have some base accounts, and then we charge per employee per month as well. So the total investment of this package that we've been working with through Marissa is about $120,000 a year, and a $38,000 upfront initial fee. And that's just for the implementation process that we're so hands-on and, really involved for. So just want to talk about how that fits in your budget, and if you guys have any feedback on that.
Very good. Well, I'll go back to District 5. He wanted to hear the money.
Yes,
So he has a question
Yes, I
regarding
did.
it.
I'm just trying to figure out what would be the most expensive part of that when you charge us?
Yeah, the most expensive part is running payroll because, if you think about it, all of these parts outside of it are supporting payroll. So payroll is going to be the big chunk of your money there, but it's so important to have all of these, I kind of think of it like payroll's right here, and then all of these things are feeding into the payroll. So those are the support parts of it, and it makes the payroll run so well, and it's what makes the system so automated, so easy, so user-friendly.
So I'm going to ask you one more thing.
Yeah,
I'm doing a cost comparison here,
yeah, absolutely.
and I'm trying to see, let's see where it is. Okay, speaking hypothetically, Mableton, Georgia,
Yeah.
what's their cost?
I would have to look into that one. I don't know that off the top of my head, but if they have the same amount of employees, it would be priced the same way. So they were all priced by the per employee per month, so it's based on how many employees that they do have.
Okay, I just wondered that roundabout.
So some of those on there, are the same size of you guys. Some are bigger, some are smaller. I kind of just did a variety in there so you could kind of get a feel of, we work with businesses of all sizes. We work from 50 employees to 50,000 employees. And a fun example I always like to use is at Paycom, we have about 6,000 employees and we have one payroll person. That's how easy payroll is to process.
Okay,
So.
that's all, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, now I'll come back to District 4. Did you have any further questions?
Not at this time.
And District 3?
No.
And
No, sir.
District 2?
I guess my only question would be the cost here, Mr. City Manager, compared to what we are presently.
My mic is not working. I'm going to cover that once she steps down.
Okay.
And District 1?
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. It was so nice to meet all of you guys and was so excited to be here and present today. So thank y'all.
Thank you for your presentation.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, though. All right. So Commissioner, one of our goals upon my ride was to kind of really embrace and bridge technology. And I did say, well, the first commission, that was going to be a huge cost. First of all, it was an investment for us financially, and then with our people. Because it has been a steep learning curve, even with Tyler. We're still trying to figure that out. One goal I do have is to see what Tyler can provide as well. They provide similar service. I was trying to get it down to just one IT platform, but I don't think it's going to be possible just because specific tasks that certain services do. I know y'all met with Paycom. They was down at GMA conference this past week, and they've been there before. They also used by the military. So that's why I'm familiar with a part of Paycom. So you might not like it, but I think if we, yeah, but the goal is to like it. So, but we're gonna sit down with the IT, with the bids director. We're gonna look at some cost scenario because this is gonna be basically $40,000 to $50,000 more a year than what we currently do. But I got to see how much it's gonna save. Like she mentioned, all the cost savings. I kind of see it a little bit differently. So we're looking at that now because some of that package, when you had the package where it had the little circles, what you could do, probably going to scale that down a little bit and get that cost as close to what we currently pay right now. So some of those, items I don't necessarily see in value as, and if they can be put into Tyler, we're going to put them in Tyler, and then we'll probably take what they give us strictly for payroll. So we're still trying to figure that out right now, but I want to introduce them to y'all because I know some of y'all talked to them before. Want to put it out there. We're going to probably come back, not in August, but probably September, once we get past the animal management changes as well as the code changes. That'll be our next big thing. Because like I said, I want to get us down to at least 2 IT platforms. She kind of mentioned Cobra. The police and the fire have some IT platforms too. They don't talk to anything, so it's always very difficult to get everybody to talk. So we're trying to get as close as we can to that vision. But again, it should zero out in the end. But the cost of that platform will save us money in other places by that time, if that makes sense. and I'll stop there.
Just
So again, we're
based,
talking about 60,000. Well, actually about $45,000 more dollars.
that's what I was
on cost.
thinking, because based on what you were showing, or at least what she was saying to us, we're actually deducting a good bit more per platform or portion of this, whatever the iteration is on it. But I appreciate the presentation
Yeah.
because it is very helpful to us to see step by step and by section
Yes.
what we would be able to utilize. And she said that the cost, when she was speaking to our commissioner in District 5, Mr. Nelson, she made a comment that it is dependent upon the choices we make and what we choose. So that number could easily change.
Yes, because the HR director, she went with the wine budget and took everything in there that could be done. So I'm definitely going to take it down a little bit. And again, we've already paying for it, and Tyler has that capability. We're going to leave it in Tyler. These systems can talk, and so the goal would be to have just these two systems. Moving forward, that means pulling in the water and sewer IT platform and everything. That's what we're trying to do. And then as far as the users, I don't think we're going to have a problem. They're doing this already. They're just doing it on paper, and they're sending it through Excel spreadsheet, or they're doing it through email, and it is time consuming. And that does save money that you can't really see, but it would save the time on that, especially for our supervisors and our directors. But like I said, we'll come back again probably, like I said, September, October with the final version, the final plan, and the final cost, and then we'll go to vote then at that point.
Okay.
Any more questions, Mr. Mayor?
I did have another one, but I'm not going to fold my hands because generally when I do that, I talk longer. So I won't do that, and I'll just turn it back to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, Mr. Mayor, now the last agenda item is the downtown area. I'm going to say a few things, and then I'm going to ask the Director Simmons speak, and then we did invite Savannah. I'm going to ask her to say a few words. First of all, I think it's been a win for the downtown area since my arrival here. And I'll tell a story. There was a point in time that I tried to support all the businesses here in Waycross, local businesses. I would try to eat at every restaurant every day, and it was easy because there was 2 restaurants downtown, and then with sandwich shop, I could just go out the week or can't afford that now. So I think that's a great analogy to build on, because I think it's 12 restaurants now. And then some of them are a little bit expensive. So again, we've come a long way since when I got here. So I want to leave with that. But I just want to say a few things. If you look at 2024, I'm kind of looking at the first year we started really looking into this, the downtown, what the city could do, helping out the Downtown Development Authority down there, the Merchant Association, and a few other organizations down there, business owners. We have multiple available storefronts. I mean, you really think about it, we had a lot of empty buildings down there that you could walk by. Some of them were decapitated, some of them, they're within code standards, but it's still empty buildings, so it does present a certain appearance. We had limited seating. Doesn't seem big now, but you could not sit anywhere downtown. You had to walk pretty much everywhere. So anytime we had events, that was something that was chaired by the Downtown Development Authority with our great Public Works Director, his team. Didn't have many beautification efforts downtown, outside of us cutting the grass and stuff like that. But that collaboration has come a long way with certain things, which I mentioned here now in 2026 when it really kicked off. Limited food choices. Again, we had those 3 restaurants, so we could all support them by paying. And then limited community events. We didn't have too much going on downtown. And then because of all that, we had those multiple distressed properties that we'll talk about here at the end. And then we didn't have any real collaboration outside of those relationships we already had outside of our official duties. And then we had a lot of parking there. I never had any concerns or comments about parking downtown my first 2 years here. Nobody didn't say anything to me. So I thought it was great. And then we're here now, 25, 26, and y'all know that's the main complaint that you get, and I get pretty much every weekend. Somebody calls about that we don't have enough parking downtown. So we're in 2026 now. Where we have multiple storefronts, we got limited storefronts at this time. I know we got a few. I think we lost 2 businesses recently. And that's unfortunate, but we still got a lot of new businesses coming in there to the downtown area. Upgraded the seats, so say bench seating. We'll change that, the bench seating. But got the seating now, upgraded the tree mulching. The downtown really ignited the need, the eventual purchase of new Christmas lights and stuff like that, which is really good for the for the public. We added those flags, no flag poles, no staff poles. We got multiple new restaurants, which I've already mentioned. First Friday. Now, we don't necessarily do it every month now. We try to do at least one big thing a quarter. We might get back to the first Friday, but that's just mainly a weather thing. It's almost impossible to do it in the summertime, how we're doing it. So we're going to move to the quarters, first Fridays. But we do have other events that go on pretty much every Friday. I think they had the downtown, the motorcycle or the car event this past weekend, I believe. And there are other events that continue to happen downtown. So there's a lot going on down there as far as community-sponsored events by our residents. And that goes to where we are now with these 3 distressed properties that unfortunately dominate the conversation a lot of times when we talk about downtown. I mean, for the reason we go there versus all the other great things that is going on downtown. And again, we have a great relationship, I feel, with the Downtown Development Authority, the Merchant Association, a lot of the businesses down there, great collaboration. And then the no parking. It's a good problem. I feel like it's a good problem, you know. But yes, we will get a call every Friday and Saturday night. There's nowhere to park down here. What are you doing about it, Mr. City Manager? And but it's a great problem to have. So before I'm going to let Patrick come up, and we'll go to Savannah first, and let her talk about a few things about the Downtown Development Authority, just the collaboration, and any concerns she might have moving forward. But I will say about those 3 distressed properties that we keep talking about. So 412 Elizabeth Street, that's the Andrews, that's called Andrews.
Cafe.
On living. So I've been working with that property owner now for about 3 years, and I've called him again last week based off of the commission wanted to talk about this at the today's agenda. And pretty much we're going to go ahead and start the demolition process on that building. I got a check right now because that court, they went to court for that. We went to court for that a year ago, and I was trying to work with them before we demolished it. So I got to see if that hearing still holds legally, and we'll get with the city attorney on that when we get a chance. So when we demolish it, but here's the issue. I know everybody wants to get rid of it. It'll be empty space there. They will still own that property. It'll be a lien on there for the demolition and a few other things on there, and still won't get anything built there unless they decide to sell. So that's going to be an issue either way. However, it is a safety problem now, which leads to that property, 312 on Pelton Street, the other distressed property everybody talks about. That property has been purchased. That they do want to do something with that property, but they can't do anything until the 412 is done because it's falling apart on that connected wall. So he'll be wasting money if he did anything right now. So once that property is demolished, then 312 will get upgraded. And I think he has a few different scenarios for that area. And when I say 312, that's the property next to the Italian restaurant right there on the right side if you're facing it. The last property everybody talks about is 516 Elizabeth Street. That is the old Lyric Theater. And I'm going to let the team talk about the efforts behind that. But I want to make sure that when we have these conversations, that these 3 properties don't, trump all the other great things that are going on downtown, have been going on downtown, and will always be going on downtown because we got a committed team down there. They're doing great things. And I'm going to pause there before I turn the podium over to the commission. Have any questions on these brief comments?
I'll start with District 4 and then District 3.
Yeah. It's more of a statement. I'm the one that asked for this to be put on the agenda, just so nobody thinks it was any other commissioner. I specifically asked for it. The reason being was not necessarily those 3 properties you named. I can give you a list of things just on a ride through downtown. Numerous broken windows. There's one building 3 blocks from here that probably has more broken windows in it than it does non-broken. So from an aesthetic point of view, that's not very appealing. If you go, we have a vacant building that's missing the awning. We have an occupied building that has a damaged awning. We have homeless issues with home or unhoused citizens using the restroom behind businesses on Plant Avenue. We have a homeless citizen that's taken up residence in the park behind Plant Avenue. We've had them taking baths out of the fountain on Plant Avenue. So when I suggested this being put on the agenda, it was not talking about any specific owner or any specific building. It's the bigger picture. Downtown should be our crown jewel. It should shine like nothing other because If a resident is coming through town, that's the first place they're going to look. If we have a new business coming into town, that's the first place they're going to look. Now, I'm not saying that we haven't seen improvement, because we have. However, I think we look at the center and there's other businesses that we miss. And what a lot of folks probably aren't aware is there are grant money out there, or grant monies available for folks to redo their facades or improvements. But also we have boarded windows that are visible to the public. There was one building Saturday behind Plant Avenue. Somebody had their laundry strung up on a line, and it's a vacant building. So I don't know if that's, again, an unhoused citizen. So that was my biggest thing, just so nobody's confused, about picking on a particular property owner. It's just the overall presentation. Because I've had a lot of business owners and citizens reach out about that.
Yeah. And I'll address some of that real fast if I can. So with the homeless people, we have every 2 months we have a different person come to the city of Waycross, and then I personally sit with that person. We try to get them back on their feet. Now there's a lot of steps to that. Get them to Unison, get them on the housing list if they're gonna stay here. If they got mental issues, so they ain't just get them out of here. And I don't chase them every night. I do speak to them. I have all the names, their point of contacts. We have partnered them with some help already, but in my going on 3.5 years now, that's been 4 people so far like that. And I'm working with a gentleman right now, who just arrived here over the last month. So again, I just think that's unfair when somebody look at this homeless problem. We got one person, who's fell down a little bit, who's asking for help, and we're trying to help him. And so we're trying that. I will talk about the other buildings here when I talk about the new blighted property list and what we're doing. And again, when y'all went down to GMA conference, something can not look right but still be legal. And that goes against the code thing, right? Because some of those buildings, they got fronts in them, they might have broken glass with a board behind it. To our code, that's legal. Might look unaesthetic, but it's legal. And then you see some of these buildings on this next list too, they are out of town owners, and that is a struggle. I have not run from that. That's a struggle to go back to building 412 Elizabeth Street. They don't live here either. They always have to keep calling them, and maybe get them every 6 months, and have a conversation, then wait 6 more months later for them to answer the phone in the court process. So I recognize all that. I just don't want to be the one homeless person, the buildings we got some boards that another business I don't like, to be dominating all the great efforts that are going on downtown with the city of Waycross. So, and in those situations, they're on the outsides too. I get the park down there, I'm talking to Public Works, we might get rid of that part, to be honest with you. It serves no purpose. I'm not sure why it's there. Just trying to figure out how to move all that stuff and repurpose it, because, like I said, it has no real purpose. I mean, it was probably a good idea whenever it got put there, but now it does not serve a purpose. But I'm gonna stop there. I do want Patrick to start, or you want Savannah, you come up first, and then we'll go from there.
I'll go after Savannah.
Okay. District 3, he'll speak after.
My bad, Savannah. Hold on. Okay, y'all go ahead and get ready, then you start. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You had a question, Commissioner? Yeah, additional question?
No, not me.
Mr. Mayor, the city attorney wants to make a comment, and then we'll.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a quick point of clarification. I do appreciate Commissioner Tompkins bringing some of the concerns. I do also believe that Commissioner Sanders has addressed some of those, from the emails that we've gone through. But what I do believe needs to be stated is that, or just more clarification, that there's a differentiation between what the city can do and what the city cannot do when it comes to privately owned businesses. I'm going to say that one more time. Privately owned businesses. We're in a climate right now that overreach of government is not a popular thing. And I agree with that. And so there's certain things that we can and can't do. Now, we've been discussing putting more stricter and more finite things in place when it comes to codes and penalties, and making sure that they're enforced and they're enforced in a timely manner. There's only so much working with an owner that the city is able to do. before we have to go ahead and take action that we're able to do legally. But I just wanted to make sure that our citizens understand that there is a difference between what is privately owned and what the city can contribute to making downtown better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good.
Any other questions? Okay.
Okay. Savannah.
Ms. Mann, go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Savannah Varnador, and I'm the Executive Director of the Downtown Waycross Development Authority. I had a beautiful speech prepared about all the great things going on downtown, but the city manager touched on a lot, and so did Commissioner Tompkins. I'm going to refer to his slide here just to kind of reiterate some things. We do have a lot of great business coming downtown. We had 2 businesses open this past weekend that had a great turnout. They actually did a little bit of a collaboration together. So they were able to kind of funnel customers to each business, and that was a great turnout as for downtown and for them. We have a lot more to do. We've welcomed Enoteca Wine Bar downtown across the street from Wiley's, which is fairly new, and then also Woody's Top Hut. So there are things to do. There's places to purchase things. And then, like referenced earlier, we have a lot more restaurants, more places to eat. And I had in here also, parking is an issue. We get calls about parking as well. What can we do to make it better? Our parking lots that we own privately, I guess, are open to the public as well. So those are always what we refer everybody to if they need some parking. Yes, you might have to walk a little further, but it's still there. Touching on the unhoused population that we have downtown, I know that there's, ones and twos every so often, but at least once a week I'm calling Chief Cox asking him to help me out with some people that are usually around the depot, and it's somebody different every week. Unfortunately, that does make people feel unsafe downtown because you never know what kind of situation that person is in. You don't know if it's mental health. You don't know if they're just displaced, whatever it could be. But it does make some people kind of weary about walking around downtown, and that's what we're trying to promote is the foot traffic. Now, we have a lot more foot traffic than we ever have. People enjoy coming to downtown. People enjoy coming to eat. I mean, the vibe and the feel of downtown has completely changed in the last 2 years. So I will commend everybody for that because it is a team effort. It's not just on me. It's not just on the city. It's a team effort. Patrick and I collaborate a lot. He and I and the board at CVB, I mean, they've helped us with a lot of different initiatives, things that we've done in the last year. We've replaced those downtown welcome signs, which I'm kind of upset that it's not in this beautiful picture here. The brand new signs that we had put out this last year, we've got 3 in different locations downtown. We purchased brand new Christmas equipment and Christmas lights as well. We're also working on the Lyric Theater, which I know is kind of not been a very publicized project, but it's just because there's so much back end that goes into it. We have pulled teeth trying to even get people to show up and give us bids on things. And I mean, it's really been a strenuous process, but we are in the process of trying to pull permits, and hopefully our selective demo will start within the next month. So we're moving forward, and that's something great. And the people that have asked about it and touched base with me are very excited about that project and what it could mean for our downtown community. But of course, with all of this progress comes the one challenge that we can't ignore, and it's the eyesores downtown. That's the one question, because we are the Downtown Development Authority. People think that we have a whole lot of authority, but what we do is reach out to those business owners and try to offer help and assistance and even offer to purchase the properties in most cases. And I have, especially the 3 properties that are the main eyesores. In the packet that was passed out to you guys, you'll see I've got some current photos. Those were taken this morning. So that's exactly what they look like now. 2 of them in this packet are a bit of a concern because they are prime retail space, but they're being used for storage. And I know there's been disputes about whether that's in the charter, that that's allowed, or is it a code violation, but they are prime real estate for retail businesses to come downtown and offer a shopping or activity experience for people. But like Commissioner Tompkins did say, the unfortunate part about all of the progress that we've had in the last 2 years gets dimmed by these eyesores. Unfortunately, the social media and the community, they drive through downtown and they don't see the brand new 2 businesses that came downtown. They see the boarded up windows. They see the buildings falling apart, and they're like, what's going on? Our main area for activities over in Phoenix Park has two of the main buildings that we discussed right there in face view. So yes, downtown's thriving, everything's going great, we're in a good direction. Those properties do bring us down. So, but that does not mean that progress is stopping. That does not mean that we are losing out, because people are fighting for business space downtown. And that's the primary purpose of wanting these properties usable. We want them beautiful, we want them usable. We offer the facade grant for property owners to apply for. We've sent it out, we've pushed it out, you know, we put it in their hands, but whether they apply for it or not, we can't help that. But we do offer the resources. But like I said, our progress has not stopped. It is continuing to grow. We have people every day wanting to come downtown. I get calls all the time. Hey, do you know of any new space? And we try to share that with them. We try to connect them with investors, people who can help them get their feet off of the ground. So does the commission have any questions about our activities at the Development Authority, or any suggestions, creative criticism that I can
Well, I'll
help
start
move
with
forward?
District 3, and then District 5 looks like he has a question or comment.
My comments is not necessarily directed at the stakeholders downtown. It would be more so the commission itself and our role in how we can help you. There's been no presentation or no information that I've gathered that we can create policy to improve some of the circumstances. I don't want to give the impression that we're targeting businesses or trying to interfere with private sector business. So me and Commissioner Tompkins had dialogue to kind of address that. I believe the commission purpose and role is policy creation, and I just haven't identified any policy that we can create that can help your individual situations. If we was addressing it citywide, I think we would have a greater opportunity to make some changes or understand the issues better. That's why I just didn't want to target just the downtown area, you know. So that's just my dialogue or input to the conversation.
Okay. And thank you, District 3 and District 5.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Has anyone spoken with the owners of the 418 plant about what they're planning on doing with that storage, or possibly?
So I've sent a certified letter, which I have on all the other properties, and that's where we come in. You know, we've done that part of trying to reach out and do the olive branch, try to connect with the owner. There was previous conversation outside of my purview about selling the property, and I tried to reach out, trying to schedule an appraisal to possibly offer a fair price for these properties, and I can't get back in touch with the owner. Like I said, I've sent letters, I've left voicemails, made phone calls, and that's where my authority kind of stops.
Have you thought about going by his home?
No, sir. I don't do home visits. I'm so sorry. I mean, I would not go alone if somebody else wanted to join me. I mean, that's a topic for another day, but yes. I don't think my husband would like that very much.
And with that being said, did you have a further question? District 4 has a question or a comment.
Yeah. And this may be a question more directed to the city manager, but it may be one that you can answer as well. By the time these properties got to the unsafe situation, what have we done as far as codes or code enforcement? That would be, my biggest question, because at some point, if it's needs to be condemned, we should have already been involved at some point. So I think, my biggest concern is what can we do to keep it from reaching that point? Just like, several of these are being used as storage. If it's being used as storage, they may or may not worry about the condition of the roof on the second floor, as long as what they're storing on the main floor is not getting damaged. So that may be something that we need to look at from a code standpoint. I welcome your feedback, and even, the city manager on that one.
Yes, I'm
I'll
good.
ask them when I come back up once.
Okay.
As far as codes, that's definitely not
Yeah.
our lane, and we never want to impose or do anything that would crosshairs. But like I said, we have reached out to these owners and tried to offer even the facade grant. You know, that would be a major help just to get the front looking good. You know, if you don't have the money or the funds to do the inside, that's understandable. I mean, you know, money is come and go in these times, but with us offering the facade grant to help these individuals out, just at least make the front look nice and, you know, more walkable and more desirable to come downtown rather than kind of being scared that something might fall down as you're walking by, you know. But we've tried those things and we've sent the letters, and, you know, that's just kind of where we're at with it, you know.
Okay. No, that's good. I mean, I'm on the same page with you. I want it to look appealing, because I'm all about taking pride in our city, and I feel like that is just, you know, one step, you know, in that stone. So that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, Commissioner, I won't prolong the time too much, but I just, because they've already said it all pretty much, just want to let the public know and everybody else know that just because you don't always see work being done, doesn't mean work's not being done. Savannah and I have a great relationship. We meet monthly with tourism. I attend her meetings sometimes, but we discuss all of these issues and how we can make downtown, and not just downtown, but Waycross better. Because it's not only buildings downtown that need some work, there's buildings all over the place that need some work. So we discuss all of that and how tourism can help. And one of the things we've discussed in tourism is bringing back our Georgia Main Street program. That program will give us state support to apply for grants, allow business owners to apply for grants for facades and things. We can work with the support system to come down and look at our business to tell us how we can repurpose and how the owner can repurpose some of their buildings to bring, you know, retail and storefront businesses back downtown. So we are actively working. We hope to have that Main Street program back this year and roll it out to the downtown merchants to how they could use it to increase, you know, foot traffic and appearance and things like that. So again, I don't want to prolong the time. I just want to we are working. We recognize some of the issues, but as they said too, just the 4th of July, we had thousands of people downtown that had a great time. And honestly, if you enjoyed yourself, you didn't even have time to look at a broken window because you were having a good time enjoying the fireworks and the music. And I think we just have to remember that from a marketing standpoint. Let's promote the good, because there's a lot of good, much more than the bad sometimes. You just have to remember to promote that. And I'll just end with that. Yes.
Director, one of the questions I have was along the lines of the downtown associations that's statewide. Do we have a connection with those, or are you aware of?
We don't now, but getting the Main Street program designation back will put us back at the table. For some reason, the city lost it several years ago before I got here, so nobody can blame me for that. But we're working to get that back now.
Very good. Thank you. All right.
Hey, thank you both. I'm gonna answer a few questions that the city manager's report about code,
Yes, sir.
code stuff. But I want to say this. First of all, I want to thank Savannah and her team. It is a hard job. You know, again, got a city of almost 15,000 people, and you only got, in most cases, 3 or 4 people responsible for everybody else. And just, it's difficult to manage. And they, you know, kind of get pulled in for all the business owners downtown. And we got some great business owners, and we got some not so great business owners. And I would just, when I talk about the code changes, you all know, as soon as I step on a property to really help out, they're looking to sue us. You know, so
Exactly.
there are a lot of legal limitations to what actually can be done. I would love it if the city of Waycross would really embrace the city of Waycross, but it has not happened since I've been here. So until we get to that point, that all this is important to each other, then it's only so much you're gonna be able to do. And I go back to the unhoused residents, because nobody, you know, and you know this, America, we spend a lot of time in that area.
Definitely know.
Everybody loves complaining about that, but it's only so many to do anything about it. It's really frustrating to keep hearing that when nobody, you know, even agencies that need volunteers, nobody ever volunteers to help these people out there falling down. Not making excuses for them walking around. That's the humanity part I'm trying to figure out here. Where's that at here? I know stuff is expensive, so we can always throw that out there. I don't have the money to fix things and all that, and I'll mention that when I get to the code discussion here at the end. But it's commissioners, both of them spoke on a little bit, it's Patrick spoke on, it's the whole concept of Waycross. What we have actually can do, what we've been doing, But we all recognize if it ain't the street next to you, we ain't doing anything. If it ain't, the car you can see, we ain't doing anything. If it ain't my road, we ain't doing anything. So we're gonna do a better job of making sure everybody understands what we are doing. But we'll talk about that at the codes update next month. So with that, Mr. Mayor, we don't have any privilege license renewals. We have one privilege license, no ordinances, no resolutions. I'm gonna see if the city attorney has anything she would like to report. Okay, we're gonna move into my report, Mr. Mayor, and I'll speak on it. Thank y'all again for attending. So as far as infrastructure, of course, we continue to be one of our highest priorities with Public Works, Engineering, Water and Sewer, and the Business Department. And when I say infrastructure, I want to make sure I clarify that doesn't mean just the buildings. That means our IT, our other infrastructure sources, our community needs, all those things we're trying to improve on to be better at. It's mentioned tonight with the new system as far as our workforce. So we're trying to get better at all those things. I think those teams, what they're doing. You see the roads, transportation. Brunel is, I want to say it's scheduled to get paved. They're almost done with everything, so it should be getting paved over the next week or two, depending on the weather. And they're going to start on Scriven. Again, with Scriven, this is going to be a test pilot for those speed strips. And we're going to see how that goes. If it's favorable, and we're going to send a survey out. I know a few of the commissioners are already on board with it. We're going to get them some data from their residents. Then we'll start phasing that in to all our street paving. And again, for those speed strips, they got to be a certain distance from stop signs or intersections, just so everybody's aware of that.
Does that have anything to do with like the fire department traveling down those roads?
It's just the regulation on it.
Just regulation.
Yeah, and the speed strips are again not speed bumps. They won't affect our emergency services.
Okay.
I know y'all saw that online submittal about speed bumps, and we've had that discussion before about why we have yet to choose to do it. We can bring that back up at a later date, but right now we're going to try the speed strips. Mm-hmm. All right. We talked about after this recent flooding we had. The team did go out, the Public Works Director, the City Engineer, and Community Improvement, they all went out, and I think, and Director Simmons, they all went out and looked at those areas of low-level houses that the Commission requested we look at. We're working a plan, but again, where those houses were built and when they were built contribute to why they flood. And that's going to have to be something we really have to figure out moving forward. We will put something together with our back trucks and those heavy storms, and be out immediately to drain some of that water. And y'all see that tomorrow. Y'all get to inspect the new back truck and the back trailer we're gonna bring up here for y'all to look at. So that's gonna help out with that. Water and sewer and storm water continue to be priorities. And then at the bottom, like again, we recognize that there are portions of our utility systems that are beyond their intended life expectancy. We got way behind at some point in time in the history of Waycross. And these just the challenges can't be fixed overnight, and they cost a lot of money. That's one thing that everybody's missing. When they say fix everything right now, there's a cost associated with that we just don't bring the revenue in for right now. And that's something I'm trying to do is create more revenue. That's the reason for some of the increases, so we can reinvest that money back into the systems. The budget portion, so of course, the FY27 reflects our budget commitment to fiscal responsibility with our current priorities. The biggest priority is going to be to divest and invest. So again, it's missing with the IT conversation with Paycom about getting rid of anything that's inefficient that's costing us money or time or man hours, and getting better at that. So that's a big push we're going to have this year about getting more efficient, definitely in the finance department. And then again, you see that at the end, we got a lot of inflation in construction costs, insurance premiums, and all those labor expenses. It's still affecting us as nationwide everybody, but we're going to be focused as best we can to make all that work. And again, for everybody, we here for the long term, not necessarily the short term. And I hit that at the end. This is the final report that we put out for the month of June, year to date. Community development. I sent y'all some correspondence here recently, just about the permits that came in over the last 2 years, and I didn't want to toot any horns, but compare those to all 8 surrounding cities and make your own assumptions about business coming to Waycross. And I'll leave that right there. Got a lot of new commercial business coming in, some stuff that we're working that we can't announce, but we're excited about it, and a lot of things we're doing in community development. Of course, public safety and quality of life. Our great police force and public works are doing a great job. And then we'll be making changes to the animal management management, program. Well, you have the meeting, the first meeting in August, and then we'll make those changes, and then hopefully they'll go into effect in September. All right, so this is to try to answer the commissioner's question just recently, what they said. We've struggled for a long time to just prove the work is being done, and we have all these internal documents that we brief. I try to touch on them during town halls, but it's so many, it's hard to brief. And then there is some legality behind what we can say out loud about code enforcement. That's the problem we've had about what you actually can say. All of this is open records, so citizens can go open records request. They open records request everything else. I hope they start doing that so they can see the work that's being done with codes. So first thing I'm gonna do, because I want to make sure I clarify what blighted property is, and that's a property, the key word, that has multiple serious conditions. I know that was a question the judge mentioned the other day. So it's being abandoned, unsafe, violating property maintenance codes, any health or safety concerns, overgrowth. All that is kind of lumped into that one thing. And we have a lot of properties that have multiple violations, not just overgrowth. Does that make sense for everybody? I know that's been that tried to be a talking point of us needing to define that. We don't need to define that because it's clearly stating what it is. Blight is multiple violations. And then you go down to the individual violations, being overgrowth of grass, abandoned car, unsafe house, unsafe structure, all those things, different violations. All right, so what I did do, those are the current cases. You got 25 court cases, and court cases mean the attorneys have those, however it is, are going through the legal process. And as I said before, that could take anywhere between 14 and 18 months before we get a verdict back from that. And I'm going to talk about that when we actually talk about the code changes, about that process, because it needs to be clearly understood. And then miscellaneous violations right now, they're working. Unsafe structures, we have about 100 of those. Blight, that means a lot. Everything corporate, we got 200 of those. And then overgrowth, 400 plus. And then demolition to date, it's actually 123 that we've done since 2023. And I'm talking about the demolition because that does cost money. So when everybody says just knock it down, back to this building downtown, yes, we could knock it down. That's beyond our scope and scale. That's going to cost about $45,000 to demolish because it's connected to other buildings. So Public Works couldn't come in and just knock it down like can a standalone house. So I've been reluctant to knock it down because of the adjoining properties and the cost. Because also once we knock it down, again, the property owner still owns the property, and it will be vegetation. It'll be some cement and some poles sticking out there. It's still gonna be blighted. And look, we'll still be in the same problem that we got now. So we really tried to figure out how to sell it to somebody. And here's the thing that the city attorney spoke on: they do not want to sell it. So when I knock it down, it's just gonna be a lien on the property for all services rendered, and it's just gonna sit there and look that way. And I'm gonna kind of just, because it's a great discussion, this is where we need help at, at the state level. Like Georgia is the 11 years in a row friendliest place to do business, and that's great. But this is a part of that too. It's hard to hold business people accountable. It's really hard to hold them accountable to a certain degree, And she's the property owner. I've sent them folks to buy the property above market rate, but they don't want to sell it. So it's so much you can do with that space. And as I mentioned earlier, the adjoining property who wants to fix his property up, he can't do anything because they're connected. That's the bad part about that property on the backside of it. So, but what we're going to start doing, this is 90-day tracker. And I started here. Of course, we'll make this a little bit better later on because the tracker, y'all get the tracker. It's a whole bunch of Excel spreadsheets, like 7 of them, about everything the codes are doing. And really all I can say legally is the violation and the first step. Once it gets into the legality portion, I can't post it anywhere because that's, it'll be against the law. So, and I can only really post the addresses because that's open record request items. I cannot post the owner of the property, so I've talked to legal, we talked to other cities. Other cities do go a little bit beyond this. I don't know how they do it, but they do. So, but this is as far as I felt legally we could go. So this is 90-day tracker, meaning the last 90 days, these are the properties that kind of just came on that we started the process. There is in the process being, because in the majority of the time, that person is not here in the city of Waycross. So we have to send that certified letter. That's the only first step. So when it says sent letter, that's that certified letter that we're sending. and you see these are the properties, overgrowth, blight and overgrowth, unsafe structure. And in some cases, the letter gets returned, and it won't be in limbo forever because we can't find the property owner. These are all blight. In a few cases, when they was dropping off the letter, the owner was standing outside, so they have to give the owner the letter at that point in time. And these are some other letters sent for blight. And these are some other unsafe structures. In some cases, we hand delivered them. So, and this is a small sample just for the last 90 days. So, if you can imagine, again, that sales, we have 70 sales sheets. Y'all know how big this list is. I want to do a better job of showing the public that we out here enforcing the standards. But it's only so far that we can go with it. If the community don't decide, I'm gonna, do better too. I go back to what I said earlier about that 1/3 of the population who want to fix their stuff, but can't fix their stuff because they're either unable to physically or financially, and it's actually more than a third of the population. It's actually, that's probably our biggest, that is our biggest violator. So we're really trying to figure out how to fix that, because that's until we figure that out, we can take them to court, the 18-month process. They might pay the $800 if they got it. You heard the judge. You don't want to send them to jail, which we're going to talk about during the codes discussion. So what is our next step? I reach out to other cities. Everybody facing this. This ain't like something that Waycross just got going on by itself. This is not unique to Waycross. This is across the country right now with this. And again, there are several factors. The economy is bad. People don't have as much money as they need to do certain things, so we get that. But then with us, again, we are an older city, so we got a lot of older residents. They can't even go out and cut their grass. So we gotta figure that out. So we can fuss and throw stones and look at this and look at that until we, again, trying to figure where's the humanity at. Neighbor to neighbor stuff. We always have this problem. One thing we are gonna do, and we'll talk to two of the commissioners. Oak Street is considered downtown as well. We forget that. Reaching out to all those owners of those buildings next week, and gonna offer them some free labor. And they're gonna go other streets to the same capacity. But it's only so many people. Right now, I know I only have 30 people since I've been here who actually go do stuff for others. And I'm trying to throw stones at anybody, but they actually go cut grass, move stuff, and they're gonna be burnt out like I did the first year if we're not careful. So I keep asking for more volunteers to help us help ourselves. But we're gonna offer them some services. I got a contractor willing to come in and do a quote for, like I think, like Ms. Savannah said, painting, all those things. We're gonna start there. If that's favorable, we're gonna try to do the same thing to some of the villages downtown that might not have the funding to fix their areas, and go from there. But this is all volunteer based. But this report, in about another month, we're gonna have that whole tracker on our website. And then residents can go on there, and you can go on there and hit the button, and you can see all the codes cases that are being worked with the city of Waycross, which the total number is probably around, is close to 1,000, between unsafe structures, abandoned properties, and there are various stages of the code enforcement issue. So I will say that. Also, and again, to Commissioner Sanders' point, we can't make any, the policy doesn't need to be the entire community, And there's some places where the city is the county. We are connected, and it's horrible too. We got to figure that out as well, because we got different standards on what we can enforce, and that's part of it as well. Because everybody can see that coming down Memorial. There's a whole side of that that's in the county that's unkept. But we, keep calling my office, we can't do anything about it. So that's something we got to figure out too. What is that engagement? How does that work? So I say this. The team is doing what they can do. I mean, it is a lot. This is a big job, and it didn't happen overnight. Again, it's across the nation. Like it ain't just here. And I think the real solution is more of us getting involved. And not to throw stuff. I know we got some people that cut folks' grass, because they have relationships like that. A lot of us do that. I mean, but it's only a few people. So we got to figure out what's the trigger to get everybody involved. And those other individuals who can take care of themselves, we do got to hold them accountable a little bit more. But they still far less than the ones that can't help themselves. So I will say that. And again, looking ahead in the coming weeks, we're going to keep focused on infrastructure planning and the grant applications. Director Simmons kind of mentioned some things. We are looking at other grants for business owners and property owners that they can put in for themselves. And then with the property management improvements, I'm going to come back to the commission. I think so. The first meeting in August will be strictly animal management, and the next meeting will be property management code enforcement changes meeting. This how you stay connected, Mr. Mayor. And I want to touch on something real fast because we often, again, I think this is more of, how do people receive information? I'm struggling with that as well. I looked at our analytics on our Facebook pages, so the city manager's page itself is around about 5,000 followers. I want to say that the city's page, what we at, 10,000? What's the city? City's about, so about the same people. So, and out of those 10,000, some of them not living in Waycross. Obviously, half not living in Waycross. So where people get information from is critical too. So we're trying to figure out that because it's a lot of false information, not false, but misunderstood information going on that we want to clear up for everybody. So Director Simmons did put together, and one of the things was the businesses, because as you remember, people would come in here and would say, I didn't know. They would say, I didn't know, I can't come to the meetings, I can't watch the YouTube, I can't follow your Facebook, I can't call you, I can't call you commissioner, so I don't know. So, so what we're trying to do, this can be found on the website as well, but it goes step by step, pretty much, and I can, we got a little time on here, but I know my staff looking at me, but we're about to finish up. But even table of contents, I just want to say this out loud, so you're welcome to Waycross, and it's got license and permits. It goes in detail, step by step, how to get your license and your permits. Applying online with MyGov, utilities and sanitation, inspections and compliance. It goes over our inspection requirements and our compliance requirements. Business fees for FY 2027. It has the Schedule E listing for all of the business fees requirements. Alcohol licenses, all those things, when you got to put it in, when it's due, late fees, everything. How to get your permits. Understand your taxes, how the zoning board works, how the board of appeals works, all those things. And in this book, it got some QR codes that take you to other locations as well for further information. So I'm asking residents, however you receive your information, make sure you're getting the right information, because that can save us all money as well moving forward. So this book, we can't print out with so many, because even paper copy costs a lot of money, and and they know I hate printing out paper now. So we'll be online, but I do encourage our residents to go on to the new website. If you're having trouble, just ask the chat box what it is. They'll take you to it. Download it on your own, put it on your phone, look over it, because it's very important. You know what the policies and how things are running here in the city. Until we figure out that perfect means of communication, so everybody has the same information. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to pause. And just in closing, just to reiterate, like I said, about the downtown, I understand everybody's concerns. We got a great downtown. Has come a long way. I should have mentioned about the number of abandoned buildings, how they look when I first got here. I didn't put that up there because I don't want to be negative. Way more than the 3 that we all talk about, or the 4 or 5 that we talk about. And then we got buildings everywhere. But we, those great partnership and those people in Waycross that really want Waycross to do better, they are out there, and they are in the boat, rowing the same way. We got other boats running the other way, so it's hard. Sometimes they're hitting us, we come this way and that way, but we are moving forward. And I'm proud of that, and our team, everything they're doing. And once we provide this code recommendation, I do want to level expectations when we do it. It's because, again, legally, until some stuff changes at the state level and sometimes the federal level with private property, there's only so far you can go. And this includes businesses and homes. I know that's another issue we can talk about tonight. Oh yeah.
There's a conversation being had now with congressmen as well as senators regarding this very same item.
Yes.
And so time frames, as we were discussing in some of our meetings, cities are getting ready to start receiving penalties for addressing certain issues, as well as citizens. Yeah. So we'll start seeing some of those things coming. They're coming from the state level down to the local levels. So we'll see that probably in the next year.
Yes. But again, Mr. Mayor, I understand the spirit of the law, but again, if you got a 85-year-old resident, even with the state officials, I think they're not in touch with what's the real issue. What are you really going to do about that? I can take them to court now and make them pay, which we do sometimes, but it's going to come to, we're going to put them in jail for them 2 weeks. and the jail's already overcrowded. What are we actually what are we willing to do to make things better? That's the question. What are we really gonna do when people really need help? That's the question, you know. So, but that completes we have no executive session, Mr. Mayor. I will say tomorrow we starting early with your visit to do equipment you just ordered, and you get another presentation on the road. I know the last roads update was you couldn't really hear. We're gonna do that. There's gonna be a resolution. I gotta go back. There's gonna be a resolution for that on the agenda, which I'm gonna change right now because you got the first presentation, but we need to go ahead and move forward if we're gonna do it or not gonna do it.
And this is PAYCOM.
Yeah, no, this is the new road ranking program.
Okay, gotcha.
So I will ask that we do put that on the agenda. Yeah, I just got for tomorrow. We can put it on the agenda for tomorrow.
That'd be fine.
Okay. Because you got the briefing, and once you get the briefing again, we'll come back in the meeting and ask for some guidance on that. All right, Mr. Mayor, and there's no executive session. I'll pass it back over to you.
Very good. Thank you so much, and thank you for your report. At this time, I'll start with our last call, and I'll start with District 5 and go back to District 1.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have anything.
Okay, District 4.
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay, and District 3.
Real quick, I got a lot. The flooding issue that take place in District 3, if you heard our city manager report about our new sweeper, we hope we can use that to help address that issue by maintaining the roads, keeping it clean so the drainage is not backed up. Heat conditions in the community, be aware if you work outdoors to take extra precaution, hydrate. We have birthdays. I would like to welcome Sean Lamar the fourth in his word today. Well, yesterday when was the birthday? A couple of days ago. But happy birthday to another namesake of mine. And in that, I'm gonna close. And y'all have a good day.
Very good. And District 2.
Just like to thank everyone for coming out.
And District 1.
I want to thank, Mr. Crackler for coming out here praying tonight. And, I'm just gonna say, I don't know about that fourth stuff. Commissioner Sanders was down there talking about Sean the fourth. I do know a third came to this world. Sean Lamar Roberts the third. I don't know about the fourth. I just want to clarify that. But anyway, everybody have a good night.
Mr. Mayor, I do got
Commissioner, Mr. City Manager.
we got off that one step. We do need a resolution for the GEMA grant. I think
So do I need a consent?
yes, we can.
Okay, I'll start out, and let me say that, you said, say it out loud again. You need a consent for,
Put on the agenda for the MOU for the GEMA and on
for the GMO, okay. So I'll start with District 1.
Yes, sir.
District 2,
Yes, sir.
District 3,
Yes, sir.
District 4,
Yes, sir.
and District 5.
Yes, sir.
You have your consent. So I get the last word, and that is, y'all have a good night. Meeting's adjourned. So how many Sean Lamar y'all got out there?
Well, I'm the original. Young Mr. Roberts said he was named after me. My namesake. It's a long story behind it. But he's proud to be a Sean Lamar.
I can guarantee you, we might come back here
He said,